Alright. Welcome back to Blue Exorcist Anime Review, episode number 45. And this episode, we're a little over halfway through this season for Blue Exorcist. It's called The Night Before. I had to look up and see what material pages. (16 and 27), chapter 99, which was a very lengthy chapter, split in half. It kind of, in a way, finished adapting this. It was pages 9 and 21. The part 2 of this chapter, the first 13 pages 20 to 24 of chapter 110, and almost the entirety of chapter 114. And you're like, wow, that is a lot of chapters. It is. It's a lot of material. So, first of which, basically, we pick up the stuff basically skipped over from 97, where we have that all of this is set in present day. There's a little bit set in the past at the end of the episode. So here's what happens. Yukio arrives via basically a helicopter, one of these military-style ones, picking up when we last saw him toward the end of the previous season. And this whole section was skipped originally, and this episode put it back in. And he flies up, and they arrive at this helicarrier, which they refer to as an airship. Yes, an airship. And I believe this episode is the second appearance of this particular thing. It is known as the Dominus Luminous. It is, simply put, they call it an airship. I call it a freaking helicarrier. That's basically what this damn thing is. And in a way, this thing did technically appear previously in other stuff. It's a mobile fortress, and he arrives there and meets up with Hamaro Todo. And when she mentions her last name, the fact that he met somebody before, and there's actually a flashback of him, presumably with, I'm guessing, it was Saburo Todo, because they showed some guy with some pointy ears. And in the manga, they don't show who he's talking about. And they show who it is in the anime, because I'm sure that probably the animators probably were confused that this wasn't shown, so they added this in. So then they arrive, and of course, Shima basically gets thanked for bringing him there. And like, I didn't do much. Then they arrive at the room where Lucifer is. And this whole scene is from pretty much the end of chapter 97. So with this point here, this whole, this entire, 5-minute sequence is from about 13 pages. Yes, this whole sequence covered 13 pages. What happens next after this? Well, we then see Bon, where we actually next we see stuff with lightning. We see everybody else reacting to all the crazies that we had from the previous season, while demons being outed, and lightning proved the fact he was true. All that footage, basically, stuff that's from chapter 99, the first half of the chapter of this very lengthy chapter. A chapter that was apparently released as apparently was split. Apparently, if you combine both parts, it is roughly, in a way, probably about 60 pages. This chapter is probably pretty lengthy. And then he goes off, delivers a report for the Vatican. I'm trying to think what was his name here. It's Bond's friend. No, not this one. It's I'm trying to find his name here. Because I know he's voiced by the guy who voices Izzy. Oh, Miwa. Yeah. Miwa takes the broken comatose sword to the temple. Meanwhile, they'll basically, I think it's supposed to be his brother, is going out basically with action. His wife stays behind. And another brother of his basically will have to fight too. And and a lot of that's from that first half of that chapter. And then what happens next is quite interesting. Because this was skipped over because Shimmy has not been seen this season so far. And we're 7 episodes into the season and no Shimmy. So Shimmy wakes up after the last scene at the end of the previous season of the show, where she showed Izumo, aka Buki Brow, where it kind of basically, she kind of determines exactly what happened with Rin the previous season. And of course, this is a very important scene, and I'm glad the fact the anime did not change anything about the scene at all, because Shimmy is revealed to be in love with actually not Yukio, but Ren all along. And she said about this, and then there's a knock on the door. The Gogori have shown up, and Shimmy is to be taken to the Vatican. And of course, Izumo has no idea what the heck is going on. And after Shimmy leaves, she contacts Bone and basically asks for a door to the Vatican because he has access to it. Of course, Bond dispatches report off basically Lightning's report to Arthur. Yes, I look forward to hearing more when I get back. So basically, he verified Lightning's claims. And then, right after this, and by the way, all that I just mentioned there, all this is all from 97, 99, the other half of the chapter. There's a little bit in chapter 110 covered, and basically almost the entirety of chapter 114 here. So, basically what that phone call that Izumo calls to Bond, that's actually a location because they changed it because he was meeting with the other high-ups at the Vatican. In the anime, he's in the hallway. Yes, he's in the hallway. And let me take a look at something here. Oh, I was wrong with this one. Oh yeah, I just realized though that 114 was probably the only chapter fully covered here. Yeah, I'll fix that right now. So, basically here's what happens next. So, the rest of the episode, basically, after the phone call is all from chapter 114. It's the only full chapter that was adapted for the whole episode. So, you have Shimmy arriving in this place described by many different things like Eden, and apparently one of the names was something that her grandmother mentioned to her when she was a little girl. And then apparently she's revealed to be, and of course she asks where her mom is, and of course she's busy with the Gogori, and of course basically they have her get changed, and it's like, oh, I can bathe myself. She gets out of the clothes she was wearing before, puts on this kimono, and like go through some ritual stuff, and then she's like by herself, drinking tea, and then she's like, I gotta use the ladies' room. And then she gets in there, and there is Rin lying on the floor. Who I should point out, though, in the manga, he had been there for 5 freaking chapters. Yes, he was absent. Because a lot of stuff focused on Yuki over the last few chapters in the manga. Because I was rereading it. So, apparently, her talking to him, which this is off in the manga, apparently this wakes him up from his nap that he was having in her bathroom, mind you, because if you watch this episode, like, where the heck did he end up? And this episode goes, oh, he was actually there. I get the reason why they put that scene here in this episode, because even though that he was just there, seen in the end of the previous episode of the series, and this is basically like filling everything else up, and then at the chat for a while, she'll always be there. He wakes up, and then and of course, everyone thinks, the girls think, oh, he's taking a while. And, oh, I basically just, she went like number 2 really badly. And then she opens the door, steps outside, and apparently the ladies want to see this. I'm like, that's disgusting. Rin disappears, and then Shimmy goes up what she was doing, and she has it again for like the next several chapters. And then Rin arrives back to where he was. From chapter 109, mind you, in the manga. So, he basically just does this. And like, oh, the presents. And he steps outside, and there's Satan! And his body is decaying. And they had a moment where Mephisto basically encounters him here, which just never happened in the manga. And then he just explodes, and now the Blue Night has officially begun. This episode was excellent. If you watch this episode, in basically when I'm revealing like what was adapted from the manga, like, really? That's a lot. Like, if you think about it, it finished up in 97. 99 is pretty much fully adapted. Yeah, they finished 99. Yeah. And of course, they did adapt the second half of the chapter too, obviously. Yes. Yeah, they adapted most second half of the chapter, but not the entirety of it. No. Yeah. So, in case you're curious though, how long was 99.5? The chapter is 25 pages. My guess is, given what happens, I think they briefly did adapt this last episode with Yukio. My guess is probably next week. Let me take a look at this thing here. Based on what I see here, I don't think they're going to cover this one. No. I don't think so, no. We'll find out more about this next week. Yeah. But in case you're curious, like I said, there's only about 5 more to go for the entire season. You're like, really? Yes, really. About 5 more to go, and then we're done with this particular season. Yep. So that's pretty much that particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. And so that's pretty much it here. So next up we have is a comic corner. Yep, and it'll be the last of the evening because I thought I had time to work on some anime. I'll probably work on a bit, but I won't be able to record it. So I'll probably do it tomorrow. Okay? But see you in the next video. Bye.